This
one
meeting
thing,
is being recorded.
how we should do the practice, how we should practice zazen. See, the to realize full year is nothing concerned with knowledge or thinking, or kinds of academical things. You see, that is a kind of story. This is this is very important step of the story. How to practice. See, as far as we just recognize who we are. In ancient China, see, there is teacher and disciple living somewhere else, and whenever teacher just meets the student or disciple, he said, "Hey," or "Oi." Then disciple just answer, "Yes." See, whenever the teacher just meet him, he said, "Hey," or "Oi." Then disciple just simply answer, "Yes." They did these simple things for 20 years. For 20 years, whenever teacher just meet his disciple, then he said, "Hey." Then his disciple answered, "Yes." See, these very simple things they did for 20 years, and eventually his disciple just realized who he was without without having any teaching. Just teacher says, "Hey," and the disciple just answer, "Yes," for 20 years. And his disciple just realized who he was. This is a very important thing in terms of to realize who we are. See, our practice, our practicing, our practicing is nothing concerned with knowledge. It's or academic or matter. See, simply when I just raise this, I just simply become as it is. See, this is totally enough. See, when you just feel this, you simply become as it is. See, without doing anything. Without doing anything. See, why do we have to be? Without doing. See, when I face this, I simply become as it is. See, when the teacher just called him, "Hey," and the disciple just answer, "Yeah." This is totally enough. See, nothing concerned with knowledge or thinking at all. This practice, if you can do, then you'll be able to encounter the essential self. Gary-san, how do I do? I just miss you for a long time. Maybe 2,000 years. I miss you. Where have you been? Where have you been? Did you go to some kind of planet? Some kind of planet?
I just working.
Okay.
working.
Walking around the whole universe. it takes you for 1,000 years. No one.
I think so.
Welcome, coming back to the earth. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we go back to today's the text number 71. But it says born without knowing. Born, born without knowing. See? As far as human being is concerned, well, not only human being, but any other animals or any other things, we don't know much about how we born, how we are born. See? No one knows this reality. See? We don't know much about how we see how we are born. Then we don't know much about how we die, when we die. See, this is very important. We don't know much about the beginning. We don't know much about the beginning. We don't know much about end. See, we don't know much about beginning. We don't know much about the end. Then why we can know much about right now, right here? It's very strange, though. We don't know much about when we just were born, how we were born, and we don't know much about when we die. But we know much about what's going on right now. What's going on right now? It's just totally strange, funny. Very much questioned, but people never have this question. It's a totally strange. We don't know much about the beginning. We don't know much about the end. See? Why we will be able to know much about what's going on right now, right here? See, this is a very important thing. Nobody know much about what's going on right now. Without self, without self, we are simply acting. See? Right now, right here. That is the reality. But people never understand this reality, unfortunately. This causes us trouble. This causes us questioning without knowing, without awareness, without self. We are simply acting right now. But people don't know much about this reality. People don't know much about this reality, even in concept. This misunderstanding causes trouble, question, problem, so-called suffering. Without doing, weeks or without self. See, we can just simply act right now. Very good, very good. When I face this, I simply become as it is. See? I simply become as it is. Oneness. You never know much about what oneness is. If you know much about the things, what it is such a separation. There is such a separation between this and this. Then you'll be able to recognize what it is. At the same time, you recognize this one as I or the self. Otherwise, you never be recognize. See this one. That's you never be able to recognize anything. See? Without recognition, you never be able to recognize anything. But the things without this, we know much about. We'll be able to know much about everything. This is a Dharma. This is Dharma. People never understand what Dharma is. Dharma is the essential ourself. Dharma is the essential self. See, that's much our essential self is so great, uncountable, incredible. See, without knowing, we know much about everything because of oneness. Because of one, we don't need to know much about what it is, because of one. It's not necessary to know much about what it is, because of one. That's tremendous. That's tremendous. But people don't know much about this reality, unfortunately. Even people just acting this way, only this way. We'll be able to act. See? What people think of is, see, because we just think of what we have to do, what we should do, then we'll be able to act. This is totally misunderstanding. Without thinking, we can just simply act. This is what the Master Dogen just teach. See, our activity is complete and universal. Nothing concerned with thinking or concept at all. It also so great, but people never be able to understand this really. That's the reason we have to do that. Only one chance within our life. If you cannot encounter, if you cannot encounter the essential self, you never be able to just encounter the essential self at all. Only one chance. See, within our life, we'll be able to just encounter the essential self. The essential self is so great, so tremendous. Non-self is the universe. See, what you're thinking about, what you're thinking about, thinking of the self. See, completely dropped away. Then you're gonna be universe itself. This is the Shakyamuni Buddha's realization. What we think of the self or the self or I or me is a creation of thinking. That is not true. But people completely deceived by thinking or concept. The people just think of this one. This one is the ourselves. This one is nothing concerned with ourselves. This one is totally empty. This one is totally empty. Nothing exists. Nothing exists. Only, see, kind of function of six senses just exists. The six senses six senses don't have any the substance. Any substance. When you clap my hand, when I clap my hand, you totally become this sound without doing this function. See, this is the function of the six senses. See, only kind of function just exists. What you think about a self or I never exist at all. Only this sort of the function. When I feel this, I simply become as it is. This is a function without any substance. When I just clap my hand, you simply become this sound. This is a function. No substance at all. You never be able to find any substance in this body. See? People don't know much about this reality. That's the reason. Only doesn't you'll be able to separate from. Only doesn't you'll be able to separate from the thinking. Then you'll be able to know. Then you'll be able to realize what this one is. What this one is. This one is tremendous, huge, much bigger than the universe. Much bigger than the universe. What do you think of the universe? Just come out on this you may say Dharma body, not a human body. Everything just come out on this Dharma body. This Dharma body is so tremendous. This one just belong to you. So your position, but you don't know much about how to use this. That's a tremendous sad for miserable things. Although this one is belongs to you, so if you can just make use of this as you want to, so you don't need to have anything. You don't need to seek for anything. This is totally enough. But people don't know much about this reality, so people always just try to just gain something, try to have the things people just want to. It's a tremendous useless. This one is totally enough. Okay, so so we go back to the text number 71. Just as we do not know the existence of human being, or rather the emergence of everything in the universe itself. See, as I just mentioned before, without knowing when you are born, how you are born, you just come out. You just came out on the earth. Then you are existing right now. Without knowing anything, you just come out. Then you just act right now. This is a key point to realize who you are. Without knowing anything, we just come out on the earth. They simply just acting with kind of the environment. See? We have to, see? As far as we just come out on the earth, see? We have to just simply act or simply move with the things, with the things, as we just faced. We just become one and simply move, simply act. This is the reality of the universe. See what kind of a scholar or a scientist thinker of what the universe is. That's a total creation of thinking. When you face this, you simply become as it is, one, become one, and then the things just come up. Only this, you may say activity or movement exists. See? Without doing anything, without self, without awareness, we simply just act. People don't know much about this reality. See? So if you just realize what oneness is, you simply do that thing. Only that thing you'll be able to just realize. See? What's the oneness is. Very tremendous. So when I face this, I simply become as it is. So I don't need to know much about anything because of oneness, because of itself. You know? We don't know much about anything because of itself. I simply become itself. See? Itself doesn't know and doesn't need to know much about what it is. And also, it's a totally impossible to know much about what itself, what it is, because of one. As long as we know much about what it is, there is certain separation, discrimination between this and this. Then we'll be able to know much about what it is. That is not a true. That is not a true reality. Reality is when I face this, I simply become as it is. See? That's it. Right. We don't need to do anything. These things happen before recognition. But people don't know much about what's happened before recognition. Yeah? What people know much about us, what's going on, what's happened is after recognition. See, after recognition. That is another truth. When I face this, I simply positive, we finish, the end. Nothing left at all. Then you just they take it out, what you just memorize. The kind of a function of memory. You just take it out and try to figure out why that kind of things just come out in our mind, or try to figure out what it is. It's just come out later. Then that is not nothing concerned with reality at all. People totally deceived by thinking. So, the people don't know much about this reality, and also the people don't know much about this kind of misunderstanding. They are just they just have right now, right here. This is incredible. That's the reason we have to do it. Although we are exactly ourselves. We are exactly ourselves, no doubt at all. But people don't know much about who we are. Very strange. People completely don't know much about who we are. Gary-san, only you know much about who you are. Very great. Because you are always in library. No. Okay. That's reason. That's reason we have to do something. See? Only Shakyamuni Buddha who just realize this reality. See? The first time, Shakyamuni Buddha is the first person who just realized this reality. Yeah, he just have a tremendous, the huge hardship, but he never just give up. He never gave up. Then he just realized who he is. What his realization is, non-self is a universe. So great. Gary-san, you are universe. Congratulations. Congratulations. Very great. Okay. So, just as we do not know the existence of human being, or rather than emergence of everything in the universe itself, came into being without knowing our own emergence as human beings. See? We don't know much about. See? We don't know much about anything. See? Excuse me. After coming out on the earth without knowing anything, maybe just maybe just move something like this. So, and then maybe just become hungry. Maybe just crying. The parents knows much about. Okay. The baby is hungry. Okay, we'll give you alcohol, maybe whiskey or wine. Just like Gary-san, you have been doing it. So no, that is a good reason. So the parents will be able to food a milk or something else to the baby. Without knowing anything, we can just simply just act. See? This is Dharma. This is Dharma. Without knowing anything, we can simply act. See? With the things we face. See? This activity, what the Master Dogen just teaches, the universe, the complete and the universal. We don't need to, although we don't just deny the knowledge or thinking, we don't deny it, but without knowing, see, without knowing the kind of thinking or kind of knowledge, we can just simply act. We can simply act. See? At the first step, we have to realize this reality. Then you'll be able to just do anything as you want to. Or in another way, you'll be able to just you'll be able to satisfy with everything. You will be able to just satisfy with yourself. Without this, you never be able to just satisfy with anything. Once you realize who you are, once if you can just realize who you are, then you'll be able to satisfy with everything without doing anything. Very great. Okay, so we came into being without knowing our own emergence as human beings. See? Without knowing, see? Without knowing who we are, without knowing who we are, we can just simply just act right now, right here. Without self, we can just simply act. See? Right now, right here. People thinking about, because we're thinking about what we have to do, they will be able to act. This is totally misunderstood. Without self, we can just simply move. We can simply move. Well, we can just simply act. That's things. That's reality. If you just realize, see, we just recommend you to do that. See, once you just realize this reality, you feel completely great self without any trouble, any question. This is the most important thing, but people never understand. People never understand this here. All the people just acting only this way. So people never know much about this reality. It's totally strange. It's a totally strange. People don't know much about who we are. The reason why is people don't know much about who we are. That's the reason. That's the reason I see the people are completely misunderstand. And the people are completely deceived by thinking. Okay. The fact is that unknowingly born thing. The fact is that unknowingly born things exist right here, see? Without knowing, without knowing anything. We simply just exist right now. Very great. Garisa, yeah, you always exist in your life, in public life, without permission. Okay, but it doesn't matter. People don't care much about. Okay. So this is a very simple, very important thing. Without knowing, we simply exist right now, right here. So great, without knowing. If you know much about what's going on, so if you can't know much about what's going on, it's late. See? Later, the without knowing what's going on right now, that he comes first. And then you recognize this the kind of condition or this kind of state. Then you recognize, you can just recognize what's going on right now, right here. comes out late. That's after recognition. Before recognition, we don't know much about. We don't know about anything. See, then we can just simply act, just like a Gary's. Sometimes I just doubt it. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay. So we have to just realize this reality without knowing. Or in another word, without self, without self, we can simply ask. I just talk to you, and then you simply just listen to what I'm talking to you. See? Without knowing, without self. Oh, this is such a tremendous activity. People never know much about. People never understand this reality. Unfortunate. That's causes trouble. That's causes question. Without doing anything. Simply we can just act. Endlessly. This is a universal. This is a universal activity. That is our the essential self. That is our this is the essential self. Okay. No? And the more a human being recognize the body and the mind as his or his own, or her own, and the more he or she cannot help but worry about this body and the mind. The more he or she has to look at it from his own or her own viewpoint. Yes, this is what people have to do. This kind of useless things. People always try to just find out what we have to do, what we should do. Or always just think of who we are. See, without knowing, we simply exist without knowledge. Why we have to do it? See, why do we have to do it? Without knowing, we simply exist and simply act. That's it. Why do you have to just find out about the reason why we just existing or exist, or what do we have to do? It's a totally useless. Almost everybody try to do it. Yeah? They're very strange. That's much people don't know much about who they are. See, once we just realize who we are, you see, we don't need to take care of the things what people are always doing. It's a totally unnecessary matter. It's a totally unnecessary thing. Without knowing, without self, we will simply exist. We simply be able to act. This reality. People don't know much about anything. If people just recognize this one as I or the self, and then what is this self is? What is this self is? Or what what we have to do with this people seriously or sincerely people think of this. See? Garrison, you never think of this. Very great. Very great. People always thinking of this question. This question you never have at all, because you are always in the public library without any permission. Okay, very good. Okay. Yeah. So the reason why we are thinking of this kind of unnecessary matter is we always care much about thinking of thought. We totally attached to thinking of a thought. That's the reason. See? Because people think of the thinking of thought is reality. Totally misunderstand. See, reality is what I just faced is. See, I simply become as it is. I simply become as it is. See? Without doing anything. See? This is a reality. Then you try to recognize what it is. You try to recognize what it is. So then there is a certain separation. Certain separation just coming out. Then you'll be able to recognize what it is. At the same time, you recognize this one as I or the self. See? Why don't you try? Gary-san, why don't you try to find out the self? Why don't you try to find out where what you think about the self exists? Even in your library, in your public life, you never be able to store it. So see, very funny, very strange. Because once you recognize this one as I or the self, see, a kind of self exists somewhere else, anywhere else. See? That's the delusion. That's the delusion. What we thinking about the self never exists. See? Even try to find it anywhere. You never be able to just find it at all. See? This is the most important thing. This is the most fundamental thing. Once, as I just mentioned, see, once you just realize, see, this reality, see, you never be deceived by thinking or thought at all. That's easy. We have to do it that way. Okay. And the more he or she, the more he or she has a look at it from his own viewpoint. The more this will lead to contradictions and suffering. The more you just care much about thinking or thought, see, the more you are suffering from thinking or thought. That's the reason. The master Dogen just teaches whatever thinking or thought, so come out in our mind. Simply let's go it. Let it go as it is. This is totally enough. Very simple. Very simple. Although it's very easy to say, but for modern people, this is the most difficult to do. See, that's much modern people care much about thinking a thought. Thinking a thought doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. The thing is, the reality is, when I feel this, I simply become as it is, the end. Nothing left. See, nothing left. Only this activity exists. Then what you think about the kind of activity, the people think about, what the people think always, only creation of thinking. See, that kind of activity just happening in your mind. See, nothing concerned with what's going on right now, right here. People don't know much about this reality. See, only Garrison knows much about us. Very great. Although people never trust you, but that's what. Very good. Okay. Therefore, in order to leave such a condition, it is necessary to leave all human view. See, if you just completely separate from this delusion, see, as the Master Dogen just mentioned, see, simply you do nothing. Whatever thinkings thoughts come out in your mind without any reason. See, people don't know much about this. See, unfortunately, without any reason, thinking or thoughts come out in our minds, just like a bubble in the river. See? Without reason, the bubble just coming out. That's the reason we don't need to care much about it. Anything at all. Simply just let it go as it is. The more you do this, the more you just simply become one with what you face right now. Eventually, there is no separation, there is no gap. See, between this and this, simply become oneness. Within one, nothing exists. Then you'll be able to realize who you are. This is the essential of self. Then you'll be able to completely from everything. Right. That's Shakyamuni Buddha's realization. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's go. You can leave on word. Okay. There is no difference. There is no difference with this mind and body. See? People think of this is body, and people think of a mind somewhere else. See, this body is a mixture or combined with body and mind. You never say anything about this is the body, this is the mind. That is a total misunderstanding. This one is a kind of a combination, kind of the mixed up with the mind and the body. So, that's the reason when I just hold this, see, when I hold this, I know much about what I just hold without knowing, without thinking. When I hold this, you'll be able to know much about what it is, what you just hold. See? Because see, mind and the body is mixed up. See? No separation. This one is so tremendous. So without knowing, without thinking, we know much about everything. We know much about everything because the mind and the body is exactly the same one. Very great. What people think about mind, what people think about body is body, mind is mind. That's a total misunderstanding. Not much people don't know much about who what they are. Okay, there is no difference with this mind and the body. You came into the world without knowing it, and you are living right now without knowing it. Very great. Already you are just living. You are existing. You are existing is without knowing anything. Without knowing anything, we can simply act as what we are doing right now, right here. That is a reality. When you let go of your views, you can live as according to that reality, this reality. So if you just realize this reality, if you really want to realize this reality, simply just let's go thinking or so as it is. This thing, or this other, if you can do it, then you'll be able to know much about what this reality is. Very simple. Very simple. Why don't you try? Gary-san, why don't you try? because you have a lot of time. You have a lot of time. Okay. And when you encounter a situation that triggers 1,000 thoughts, that is what you can clearly see the difference between human view and working of the Buddha nature. See, as long see, a kind of a thinking or so still remain slightly. See, you never be able to encounter the essential self. The thinking also completely cease, completely dropped away. Then simply you'll be able to encounter the essential self. So right now, when I face this, I simply become the things I faced. There is no separation. See? I just recognize what it is. Then I will be able to, I can just realize what it is. In the same, I recognize this one as I, or the self. See? But this is not true. See, the reality is without self. Without self, I simply become as it is. See, this is a reality. Right. So if you can just completely separate from your thinking or thought, then you'll be able to encounter the essential self. No doubt at all. Very great. That is when that is when you can just clearly see the difference between human views and working of the Buddha nature. Then, for the first time, the root cause of delusion of ignorance is cut off. See? You never deceived by. Once you just realize this, you never be deceived by thinking or thought at all. You never have any doubt. You never. You can just have a great confidence. So you never have any question, trouble, problem at all. This is the Shakyamuni Buddha's realization. See, you can have a completely confident. Very great. Then for the first time, the root cause of delusion of ignorance is completely cut off. And it is clearly severe, savored. You'll be able to save yourself completely. Then you think, that's a trouble. And this is why I can be born as a human being. Is so great. See, you'll be very happy. Okay, then for the first time, the root cause of delusion of ignorance is completely cut off, and it is clearly savored. You can save yourself. You can save everything. Garrison, you can save everything. You can save everything. But you never try to save me. What's the reason? Okay. Only then can you see your true nature. Only then can you see your true nature and realize. I see. I was liberated from the beginning. I didn't need to go through all those unnecessary procedures. See, in another word, we are completely perfect. See, completely perfect and universal at the beginning. You'll be able to have this confidence. No trouble at all. See, that's the reason we have to do it. I didn't need to go through all those unnecessary procedures. Very good. That's it. Even before practicing, the way is already inherent in everyone. See, because you are already enlightened. Okay? You are already enlightened. The people never accept it, unfortunately. That's the reason we have to do a zazen. You see? Even our practicing is unnecessary. Unnecessary. See, we are already enlightened, just like a garrison. Just like a garrison. although I say so, he never accepted. That's a whole problem. That's a whole problem. That's the reason we have to do that until you can accept this reality. See? That's the thing. That's the reason we don't need to worry about anything. But the thing is, even you just understand what the essential self is, it is totally no use. See, once we have to just encounter the essential self, then you don't have any doubt at all. You have a complete confidence. See, with everything. That's the Shakyamuni Buddha's realization. That's it. Ay, muchas gracias, muchas gracias. Danke schön. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Here is a never trip the